Work has gotten harder. The Great Resignation, data overload, and the speed at which customers expect goods, services, and answers to be delivered is exhausting. The traditional way of working isn't working anymore. In our customer survey earlier this year, 42% of respondents were working more hours in 2021 compared to 2020. And a lot of that work is operational. It's how things get done, day in, day out. It's often manifested as processes, but it's coupled with people and information. Technology is a major driver for process change, and not just for software engineers in IT, but for all knowledge workers. And there have been a lot of technology changes over the last decade with no sign of slowing. This should be no surprise, but we're now living in a world of digital everything. More business process depends on digital systems. How HR teams work, how legal teams work, or even how supply chains are managed. Software is woven into how all teams operate. So these problems of data overload, of lost institutional knowledge, of operational complexity, it's not just a problem for technical teams. Everyone is dealing with this. But we're not here to admire the problem. And over the next 20 minutes, we'll talk about the PagerDuty Operations Cloud is solving these problems and revolutionizing operations. This means that operationally, you're ready for anything. But as humans, it means you're spending more time on work that's fulfilling. One of our core values at PagerDuty is championing the customer. And with all these new capabilities we're bringing to the PagerDuty platform, you'll see that we've been listening. So what does it mean to revolutionize operations? In order to be ready for anything in a world of digital everything, you first need to use APIs and webhooks to understand what's happening in real time. The volume of software in use has exploded, and the complexity of modern digital systems is only increasing. Everyone's got an app for everything, and the common language is RESTful APIs and webhooks. We've gone from a trickle of input data to a flood, manually flipping from dashboard to email to chat and back is simply too slow. Webhooks and APIs are the new normal for retrieving events from all the different sources. PagerDuty embraced event-level data from early on, and today we have over 650 integrations. A recent study by the Enterprise Strategy Group found that 2/3 of those surveyed had more than 10 observability tools. For our friends in centralized teams, platform teams, and SREs, I'm sure you're struggling with the variety of observability being used across your dev teams and the challenge of pulling it all together. But who watches the watchers in this architecture? We do. PagerDuty watches the watchers and more. But it's not just monitoring and observability output. We take in data from code changes from repos and CI/CD pipelines for DevOps teams, security events from security teams, even events from your MarTech stack for marketing operations teams. You really can push from anything to PagerDuty with an API or webhook. In fact, our integration with robotics fleet management company Formant lets you pass events from your fleet of robots directly into PagerDuty. Next, you need to make sense of all this data to know where you should actually focus your attention. Human time and attention is a valuable thing, maybe even your company's most precious resource. This is where machine learning comes in. PagerDuty has seen event data grow at nearly 3 times the rate of users. Think about that. Data from events is outpacing humans. And with inflation and a tight labor market, people are getting more expensive. Organizations have to get more efficient about processing all these events. We have to offload work to machines. The good news, PagerDuty Event Intelligence already addresses this challenge, with our customers seeing a 98% reduction in noise from alerts. It works really well. And last year, we introduced probable origin to accelerate root cause identification using historical data from correlated incident patterns, letting machines do some heavy lifting to accelerate time to resolution and preserve the customer experience. And earlier this year, we introduced auto pause incident notifications to handle transient noise. This puts us further ahead of other so-called AIOps solutions, which don't even offer the automation and the operational workflow capabilities of the PagerDuty Operations Cloud. In its first couple months with early adopters, we've paused over 350,000 alerts. I did some quick calculations, and that's about 15 to 20 alerts per customer per day eliminated. Wouldn't you like to have 15 to 20 fewer notifications per day? SailPoint, the identity security company, previously had a database failure that would fire over 60 alerts. They adopted PagerDuty Event Intelligence, and now these alerts are automatically consolidated into a single incident. No one should have to manually correlate 60 different alerts, nor has the time to do so during a critical database failure like this. With PagerDuty, it's all on one page, instead of scattered across dozens of apps and interfaces. Think how much more efficient your teams can operate with all of that work done for them. We've also added event orchestration, a powerful decision engine where teams can create custom logic to enrich, modify, and control routing based on event conditions. When we launched earlier this year, we thought we were onto something good, but didn't know that this would be the killer app for event processing. Compared to rules, event orchestration is 90% more efficient. That means if you had 50 rules, those can now be replaced with 5 rules, and teams can get more precise with how events are routed and handled. And today, we're announcing Terraform support for event orchestration to make it even more flexible for configuring, maintaining, and updating event orchestrations at scale. All in all, there has been a tremendous amount of innovation in this area, and our customers are seeing the benefit. Be sure to check out the online breakout from the team at Schneider to hear how they've automated and eliminated thousands of weekly tasks. So processing data and events is one area we can and should be offloading the machines for help. But what happens next? How much of how we respond to an event or incident can we automate? As Jen mentioned, the old way of filing a ticket and waiting in a queue is broken. This is where automation comes in. But automation is such a big term, it really helps to get concrete about the specifics. Let's start with incident response, since that's where PagerDuty started. We know this process: notification, acknowledgement, status updates, resolution. Now think about someone who's joined the company since the start of the pandemic and they're going on call. They've hardly met any of the people they work with, let alone know who the experts are at the new company. They might be working from home, isolated. They may not have access to the various systems, or maybe they won't ever have that access. And in comes a major incident. What happens? They have to escalate. And the more people they have to pull in, the longer it takes to resolve, and the more the incident costs. How do we help that person? From a situational awareness perspective, we added dynamic service graphs to understand dependencies and their status in real time. And last year, we debuted Automation Actions, which lets a responder run automated diagnostics to collect data on the incident. For example, instead of chasing the app team to run checks, only to get routed to the database team to check if the database is healthy, to then get sent to the networking team to test if the load balance is responding, you get the idea. Each of those specialist teams has standard diagnostics they run, but they often require training and access to run them. Automation Actions empowers responders to start running those diagnostics or even trusted remediations, saving an average of 15 minutes per incident. Remember how I said event orchestration was the killer app from earlier this year? Well, now you can actually call Automation Actions directly from event orchestration. In fact, we've integrated Automation Actions everywhere to empower more users to take action and resolve issues faster. So what does it mean to have Automation Actions in event orchestration? If an event for a CPU warning comes in, deep diagnostics can be kicked off right there at time 0. By the time the responder is engaged, they have the data they need to take action. Or the incident is avoided completely with an automated remediation step, like adding another instance or node before customers experience any degradation of service. If you've been trying to move towards self-resolving incidents, this is the way. We've also integrated Automation Actions into our customer service operations product, so a customer service agent can validate a customer impacting issue and enrich incidents linked to the cases they're already working on. Ultimately, this accelerates time to resolution, delivering a better experience for those customers who are already engaging support agents. We've also added Automation Actions to our mobile app and our Slack experience. Automating diagnostics shortens the duration of an incident, which in turn gets teams focused on the meaningful work, the harder problems to solve. Earlier this year, we introduced Runbook Automation, a fully managed Runbook Automation service for wherever you want to automate for speed and consistency. These could be disaster recovery runbooks to fail over to a different availability zone, or making a copy of production data into a dev environment. Runbook Automation makes it easy to get started as a fully managed SaaS solution that doesn't take an army of consultants to set up. And if your runbooks need access to on-prem system, that's okay. Runbook Automation connects to your systems behind the firewall with locally deployed runners. This concept of remote execution in a different trusted environment is so prevalent that we launched the runner for these use cases. We've also added the runner feature to PagerDuty Process Automation, all of which is software that you can install and run yourself wherever you like. Process Automation and Runbook Automation are now available in the AWS Marketplace. Each part of our automation portfolio, Process Automation, Runbook Automation, and Automation Actions, provides an audit trail of steps taken while improving speed and efficiency. With PagerDuty, our customers are taking weeks of work down to minutes. Another reason to automate is to do things consistently, the same way, every time. It's great to find all the steps you should follow, but no one wants to go digging for a checklist on a wiki page in the heat of the moment when they're working on a high-severity incident. At PagerDuty, we work with some of the biggest, most iconic companies in the world, like Zoom, SAP, and Vodafone. We've been hearing from some of our customers that they want to define custom steps in their response workflows, which is why we're excited to introduce incident workflows. Coming later this year, incident workflows allow you to use our out-of-the-box orchestrated responses or define your own. This isn't just a visual interface around notification workflows, although we have that too. But for that responder who we call maybe new to the company and doesn't have processes or experts or stakeholders committed to memory, out-of-the-box workflow make it trivial to set up and trigger a sequence of common incident actions, such as adding responders, subscribing stakeholders, sending status updates, starting a new per-incident Slack channel, or creating a response conference bridge. You can customize your incident workflows to reflect your organization's process for any number of use cases, for example, by priority, status, or urgency. And as you learn from post-incident retrospectives like, it'd be better if we always send a status update, you can mechanize that learning back into your workflows to ensure nothing gets lost. This need for context is also fueling another capability coming to the platform. Later this year, look out for custom fields on incidents to provide responders more contextual data for faster analysis and resolution. Okay, so we've gone from using APIs and webhooks to tap into all the events in real time, to using machine learning to offload how we process and make sense of all that data, and then how we use automation to make the next steps faster and more consistent. We've offloaded a lot from humans. But that doesn't mean we keep us humans in the dark. Keeping people on the same page is an essential part of the process to ensure people don't duplicate effort and instead focus on the most important things when it's their turn to do work. We've heard from a lot of our customers that they want to send custom status updates. So we've added status update notification templates to standardize internal communications during incident response. Customize in a rich text editor and add images, screenshots, or even graphs because a good internal communications answers more questions than it raises. We've also heard from many of our customers that they want an external status page to provide visibility to their customers. And I'm very excited to announce that we've already started working on status pages, so stay tuned for more details. Last year at Summit, we announced our customer service operations products and new applications for Zendesk and Salesforce. In just a few short months since launch, this is one of our fastest growing products in terms of customer adoption. PagerDuty provides a single source of truth and focuses everyone on the customer problem, ensuring developers, customer service agents, and even the customer are always in sync. Within our customer service ops application for Salesforce, I'm happy to announce that we now have bi-directional integration with the Salesforce Service Cloud incident object. Combining this data with PagerDuty AI Ops, automation, and real-time services is a powerful combination. This is the latest enhancement to our customer service ops solution, which breaks down the walls between customer service and development teams and is changing the game for how teams coordinate during customer-impacting incidents. This feedback loop was already broken at most organizations, but the post-pandemic world has only made it worse. Nobody wants their customers waiting and having a bad experience. Linking cases to active incidents and servicing right in the applications used by customer support and development teams provides real-time information and drives incident priority. Check out what Michael Wynn at Guidewire had to say about it. Finally, we want to make it really easy for you to get the most out of PagerDuty. One question we get a lot is, what does best-in-class look like? With 21,000 companies and organizations using PagerDuty and now over 1 million users, we've been able to identify best-in-class patterns. Best practices like having 2 levels to an escalation policy, or identifying and maintaining dependencies for all your services. We launched service standards to help our customers configure better services based on best practices and ultimately scale service ownership across your organization. Let's think about this in the context of site reliability engineers who are relied upon to be the experts of availability and reliability, in addition to owning the actual availability metric for many teams and services. Service standards are the mechanism SREs can implement and scale the best practices of PagerDuty. We're also introducing new enhancements to our Insights reports. The reports will be updated in a rolling early access program, getting new interactive visualizations, intuitive drill down capabilities, additional filtering options, and the ability to bookmark a report URL. First up, the new Service Performance Report helps answer the question, how's my service doing? You can't improve what you don't measure, so getting access to actionable insights like these are critical to helping our customers make data-driven decisions to improve your customer experience and system performance. But don't just take it from me. Salesforce will talk about how they're using the new Service Performance Report to help their operations during the session, what's really going on with my service and incidents. We've covered a lot of what's new from PagerDuty in a short amount of time. From APIs, to machine learning, to automation, we are revolutionizing operations. We're listening to our customers across all the industries we support, like e-commerce, financial services, and healthcare, and building capabilities to drive even more value from our platform. But we're not just building a Swiss Army knife that's trying to be all things to all people. It takes a point of view on how modern work gets done in the era of digital everything. Now, more than ever, you need your teams, all your teams, to focus on the important, more filling work and offload the tedium to machines. And you shouldn't have to sacrifice a great customer experience to do that. To take a look at all these new Operations Cloud capabilities in action, let's check out a demo set in the travel industry. So without further ado, let's take a look.
It's a beautiful sunny day in California. Ground staff at Hoffman Air are busy checking their customers in, overseeing the baggage runner, catering, and other logistics at the airport. Travelers look hurried or blissfully tanned and serene. What could possibly go wrong? Excitement builds as the U.S. national basketball team is scheduled to fly their chartered Hoffman flight to their semifinals game. All is well until Mr. Andre makes his way to the check-in counter, and things take a wild turn.
Why won't the kiosk let me check in? Ugh.
Please hold, Mr. Andre. We'll check and get back to you. It looks like our systems are down.
Good afternoon. We didn't receive the final meal order count from the airline's reservation office for any of your flights this morning. Are your procurement systems down?
A series of unfortunate events unfold. A line of angry customers begins to grow. IT is flooded with alerts. NOAA, being the first responder, lacks expertise and deeper tool access to troubleshoot further. So without sufficient context and visibility, NOAA scrambles to get all teams onto a conference call and calls a major incident. Hoffman Air's major incident workflow is complex, involving many steps which are manual. The incident response team neglects a step in the workflow to communicate updates to important stakeholders, upsetting both customer-facing teams and executives. A storm of alerts, a flooded inbox, hundreds of people on a conference call, so many disparate tools to check to dig for the root cause. Precious time and money lost.
We now have 2 lawsuits, one due to the lack of communication to passengers in affected airports, and the other because our national team missed their game. The finance team also has been underwater with issuing refunds to every passenger who backed out due to delays. I appreciate the teams doing their best to resolve the issue, but we need to evolve as an organization to make it better for our teams.
Executives at Hoffman Air realize the need to speed up detection and accelerate engagement with relevant teams during critical incidents. But most importantly, also to keep every single stakeholder informed. Following the chaos from the incident, Hoffman Air started their maturity journey by adopting PagerDuty, the Operations Cloud for the modern enterprise. Tapping into the platform's AIOps functionality, they leveraged PagerDuty Event Orchestration to cut down on the manual processing of events on ingest and route events based on custom logic at scale. Then, they evaluated repetitive, manual tasks and runbooks that customer-facing teams executed and replaced them with automated runbooks, both with and without human intervention, using PagerDuty Process Automation. This helped free up overall productivity time. 6 months later, it's another beautiful sunny day in California.
Your kiosk isn't letting me select seats.
A storm of alerts arrive. PagerDuty filters through the noise and routes only the actionable, high-priority incidents to the right teams and corresponding on-call responders. Event Orchestration processed the event payload and set the priority of the incident to a P2, automatically triggering automation actions to invoke automated diagnostics. The output report shows latencies. High latencies in the diagnostic output report prompted NOAA to upgrade the incident to a P1. This P1 incident has an incident workflow built to quickly engage the major incident response team for an impending system outage. Meanwhile, at the airport, Dahlia is proactively logging the issue.
Customers cannot check in through the kiosk at SFO International and cannot retrieve seat assignments. Looks like IT's on top of this already, and I see some cases linked to the check-in service, so I'll link mine too. I'll retrieve a list of VIP customers who are flying today to keep them informed. We can't afford to lose our frequent flyers. It looks like the national basketball team is supposed to be on this flight again.
Meanwhile, Miyoko, the site reliability engineer on call, investigates further. Miyoko views the service graph and sees widespread impact spanning multiple airports. She digs in deeper into this incident with the check-in service and reviews recent changes.
This feels like deja vu, but this time with PagerDuty.
This deploy happened just a few minutes ago. The diagnostic detail points to degradation around the same time.
Yes, I'll let our stakeholders know.
NOAA launches the status update notification template editor and drafts an initial status update.
This is going to take a few minutes. I'll temporarily disable the online seat assignment service.
I'll get right on it and let our customers know.
Great. All customer service agents assigned to multiple cases are staying on top of our latest incident updates and are relaying them to our customers.
Miyoko and NOAA identify the root cause and quickly come up with a resolution plan.
Response times are climbing.
It's clear from the diagnostics that there's an expired certificate on one of the Kubernetes clusters.
Oh, looks like that deploy didn't apply the certificate across all the clusters. Bingo. That's our problem.
Let's reapply the certificate across the environments one more time. It might take a minute.
Okay, I'll run it.
Job is complete.
Great, I just ran the diagnostics runbook and everything looks normal again.
I re-enabled the seat assignment service and the test run was successful.
This was so much faster than last time. I've closed out the incident with a final update.
Thank you for your patience. The seat assignment issue has been fixed. Your window seat is ready for you to enjoy your views.
Thank you. We are still on schedule.
Following incident resolution, the team captures learnings to get more preventative and minimize impact even further the next time around.
Team, I'm really impressed by your willingness to learn from previous events and take on new approaches to improving and preventing them from happening again. Our customer satisfaction and net promoter score went up in the last survey, but that's not the only reason why I'm proud of this team. I heard that we're resolving issues 50% faster and spending half the usual time on critical incidents. I like the sound of that. Great job.
Hoffman Air could have repeated the same mistakes from before. Instead, their adoption of the PagerDuty Operations Cloud helped them accelerate remediation and response to this critical business-impacting incident en route to a better future.